very warm greetings to our partners at the FDCP, Ms. Karina and team, our dear collaborators at the DGPI, of course, Direct Mark. Salute to FAP's Direct Paulo Villaluna, and of course, national artist Sir Ricky Lee. I'm a proud mentee of Batch 15 of Sir Ricky Lee's workshop, so seeing him here really gives me the warm fuzzies. The love continues, Sir Ricky. I'd like to extend also thanks to Outpost Visual Frontiers John Tan, who was so kind to sponsor our DCPs for the short films today, and of course to all of our esteemed guests, filmmakers, students, future filmmakers, and dear friends from the media. Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to set the stage on what transpired in our first edition, to frame how fortunate we are to have this opportunity to do our part for Philippine cinema. iNDIEGENIUS was birthed with the goal of helping emerging filmmakers, particularly those who are outside of Manila, a chance to develop their projects and the opportunity to make their dream short films. Again, we're trying to open that door for opportunity. Next slide, please. So the extensive submission process was overseen by our illustrious selection committee. All of them are esteemed filmmakers in their own right, and they are the ones who had the ultra difficult job of sifting through, hear this guys, 300 entries. Ang daming filmmakers, okay? At ang saya, di ba? It's easily the largest, I think, number of submissions by a significant margin in all the local film festivals and programs. So that already was a feat. Nagulat akong lahat at influx. At yung maganda doon is that, well, let me introduce to you the CELCOM first, okay? So first and foremost, we have people like Dirk Carl Baba. Imagine, he's looking at all of your works, right? So he, of course, made history recently as the first Philippine Oscar entry that was mentioned in the top 25 in Variety for his heart-wrenching indie animated feature, diba? Itiba Pupao. And that film is continuing to win numerous international accolades and awards. Second up, we also have filmmaker Kenneth Dayata. Kenneth, you're here? I know Kenneth's here. There we go. Who hails from Cebu. His film, I think you're only the third Filipino filmmaker to have your feature in Sundance, right? Oh, diba? Oh, diba? Sundance, baby. And we had the honor of seeing, he screened his film in Edsa Shang recently and tormented my children. So thank you for, with your horror film, In My Mother's Skin, which was picked up by Amazon Prime. So bravo, Sir Kenneth. Next up, we have Carla Pulido Ocampo, who's based in the Cordilleras. And her practice ranges from documentaries like Walang Rape sa Bontok, and even the award-winning short film Tok Wifi. And of course, my gosh, last but not least, our CELCOM chair, Christine Quintana, who has been instrumental. Get this, she's been in the indie Filipino cinema scene since the Cinema Manila Film Festival, right, with the late and great director Tigoy Aguiluz. And all the way to today to one of our most important international film festivals, Q Cinema. So imagine ang daming tinawid ni Miss Kids dito, and she was the one who had to rally in and like, okay guys, 300 tayo, how do we do this? Let's get this number down. So thank you guys for doing that hard work, okay? So kumanda kayo for the next batch, just one fair warning. Okay. We look forward to as many entries again. Which brings me to acknowledging our tremendous first batch of iNDIEGENIUS mentees. Next slide, please. Because I'm so stunned at who composed this first batch. And I think you might actually know quite a number of them. So first up, we have the dynamic duo of Arlie Sweet and Richard Salvadigo, and they had one of the big winners last year at Cinemalaya, right? Tumandok, which was shot in Iloilo by the Ati people. Amazing film, and I think they also just got married, so I'm not sure it was iNDIEGENIUS, but what's that? Hindi yan sa plano si iNDIEGENIUS, ha? But it's an amazing developments for these two. Next one we have Bradley. Bradley, are you here? Can you see Bradley? Oh yeah, Bradley, there you go, you're in the glare. So Bradley, literally weeks, right? Weeks after Indigenious, he got into the FDCP DGPI pitches. And I think he won 3 awards, diba? Sana all, no? Grabe. And his latest project already has funding from CCCL Film Festival in Thailand, correct? So congratulations, Bradley, and very nice to see you here. O diba, grabe yung mga mentees natin, kakaumpisa pa lang. Next one, oh my gosh. Kate, saan ka? Ayun, everyone, Kate Tarago. So she was one of the people in this first batch that got the 500,000 peso grant. Sana all din, right? And the amazing thing was that her short film, you'll see it later, but Bisan Abo Wala Bilin premiered at Sinag Manila, right, a few months ago, and her film just was in Yogyakarta, right? So, and of course, she brought the triumvirate, the Holy Trinity of producers from Southern Lantern, Derek Sharon, Derek Arden, Derek Sunny, they're all here. So we can grill them later on how they did this, all right? But thanks for being here, kid, and congrats. Next up, we have a Kapampangan filmmaker, Jonar, and he had this fascinating concept about the kapre, and he was actually awarded in the final jury as the most promising project. So he's not here today, but want to make sure that the Kapampangans out there are recognized, right? Next up, we have Patricia Daluay. She's, I think, one of our youngest members. She's a PUP student, and she had a myth-adjacent social realist film called Door to Door. Binanggit ni Sir Ricky, pwede kayo maghalo, diba? There's no rules. That's a good one, mixing myth and social realism. Right? Next one up, we have Pat Apura. I'm not sure, is Patrick here? If Patrick is here, I hope he's here, but Patrick had the only fully animated project presented in Ingenious. And it's entitled Ilaya. And for his tremendous efforts, I don't know how he did this, literally a week before the final presentation, I'm gonna animate you, Patrick, okay? And he actually made a thorough teaser, I think one-man band. And for his efforts, he actually was given the special citation of best presentation by our jurors. So thank you to Pat for representing the animators, okay? Next one we have, well, from fully animated to the only documentary project with animation, kinahalo talaga, right? We have Pia Duran here, and she made her documentary, Samabella. It's amazing because it's mixing issues of identity, gender, and regionality. And this project is now being funded by One World Media from the UK. So, diba? So, you know, things are moving, right? Next up, another one from Mindanao, Radil Veloso. Radil's concept revolved around the relationship between a grandfather and granddaughter to frame the story of loss. And he actually won, for his film, the Indigenous Jury Prize for his concept. Next up, we have Roland is here. I know. Roland, where are you? Saan ka ba? Roland, ayun, kahit mo si Roland. Everybody's here, guys. Applause because, you know, don't be shy, Roland. Roland's film actually tackled the delicate subject of tolerance and religion with an LGBTQ story set within the Muslim community. So it's very daring and brave. So congrats, Roland, for doing it. I think you have a film somewhere. I heard through the grapevine. So congratulations on that. Please share when you want. Okay. And as you wish, Shane. Shane, please rise. There you are, Shane. So rounding out our 10 finalists, she is the other recipient of the 500,000 peso grant, and you will be getting the special sneak preview of her film, Melina Camerly, which also stars one of the people here, Miss Angela Bailey. Ooh, yeah. And also next to her, Russ Bessie and Elena Espan. So they're all gonna, you'll see them later for that film. So, but here's the thing. We had 10 finalists, but what was interesting that the selection committee found that there were other filmmakers whose projects, they might not have been ready yet at that time, but they were just so at the brink, right? They're like really, really close, and they knew in their bones that if they let them in here, great things are gonna happen. And that's why they formed the Vision Creative Unit Scholars, okay? So these are for the people, they were not gonna be vying for the 500,000 peso grant, but they knew that they'll benefit from this. So the first one up Cedric Labadia, clearly, again, a lot of you know him here, a fellow classmate, okay? Because he clearly learned a lot from the program, because again, literally just weeks after the lab, his project got into the FDC BGPI pitches, where he also won 3 awards. And soon after, his project that he was developing here was selected for the Manila Film Fest. So imagine, within a few months, it went from a pitch deck, biglang na green light. Next thing I knew, he'd shot it. Okay, ang bilis. And then the next thing I knew, which really stunned me, was that after the premiere, he won Best Director and Best Film at the Manila Film Fest. I mean, ang bilis, diba? Grabe yung parang rocket ship journey ni Cedric. And his film was actually one of the films selected to screen at Busan. And all of you guys, filmmakers, know it's hard to get to Busan, so it's an amazing trip for this guy to go from ideation to Busan in like a year, right? Really, really stunning. But here's what's crazy. He wasn't the only one to go to Busan. His classmate, Sofia Belonza, also clearly benefited because she went to platform Busan naman. And at this very hour, the only reason why she's not here is because she's shooting a project for Miss Madonna of UXS. They're the ones who produce Isang Himala. They're shooting right now. So that's why she's not here. So diba, parang okay lang, she's working hard, right? But you see how it works? We're not just opening the doors, but you guys are not just, God, you're breaking down the doors and running with it, right? Which is really a really amazing thing. And we really couldn't be prouder. But here's the thing. All of these kids, I'll say, right? All these young'uns, they're really, really talented. That's a given. But they also needed to have their mentors to help hone their significant talents. And I want to introduce our esteemed mentors right now, because they need to be honored too. First off, gosh, dami natin legends dito. We have another screenwriting legend and director here, Direk Doy Del Mundo. I know you're here. Everyone, my gosh, your works have been inspiration, and it was such an honor to have you impart your wisdom to this next generation of filmmakers, along with your daughter, Direk Ida, who we just flew away back to New York. We had, for production design, we had Digo Ricio, who's also a director. And so, Digo's done a number of projects. I think you've all seen his work. And he's also, he recently did the international co-production, that series in Cebu, that's shown in America, I think Almost Paradise. So he's the main honcho there. So imagine even the production design mentors working on foreign projects, international projects. Next we have Direk Day Clamar, cinematographer, whose practice again, you saw that we don't delineate here, right? There's no delineation, we're documentary, we're fiction, we're this. Direk Day does work in both fiction and documentaries, and that's why it was great to have her share her wisdom with the young filmmakers. I think she's shooting right now too. Next, of course, in our producing, we had Alan Bergang, one of our Pinoy producer extraordinaires. And his work ethic is clearly paying off. So I think last week he was in New York and now he's shooting in Taguban today. So ang daming ganap ni Sir Alan. But he was there also helping guide all the filmmakers. And of course we had Direk Martiga Escobar, who made history as the first Pinoy feature film to win an award in Sundance plus Toronto. So you can imagine, I think in our session, daming fans, some mentees. So that was a really fun session to have with her. For our technical side, we had editors like Ilsa Malsi, and for sound, Sarah Miko Piso. So again, you guys all know their works. So it's an amazing batch of mentors. But last but not least, I'm going to call upon the woman whom Oscar-winning director Anne Lee calls a national treasure. And she is a national treasure. Miss Anjali Bayani, kamusta yan? Yay! So, Anjali is not just like a esteemed actress, but Anjali got another name by the Urian as one of the actress of the decade. Diba? Grabe na, 11 year decade, right? And of course, she's also a lauded acting teacher, being I think one of the first designated Meisner instructors right in the country. So that was a fun session that she had. Of course, Elora and Ross were there too, and she had a very, very special guest in that session, which was Miss Dolly De Leon. Golden nationality. So medyo, napaka-exciting nung sharing that day. So again, I just wanted to it's an amazing thing where you have these great mentors guiding all these new young minds, right? And that's what Indigenous is doing. We're opening that path and making sure everyone who enters gets to interact and, as Sir Ricky said, become a part of the community. Now, that said, the ones that had the unenviable task of deciding which two projects would get the grants, that duty fell to these three. Totally unenviable. But of course, the first one, the woman behind Cinemalaya herself, Direct Clarice Gillian, she was amongst the jurors, and she's still on fire with Cinemalaya continues to this day. Then the man behind Q Cinema International Film Festival, Derek Ed Dejano, is also amongst the jurors. And of course, another one of our producer extraordinaires, Bianca Balbuena, rounded out the jury. So Ken, look at this. Every single person that enters Indigenous is already placing their works in front of these esteemed filmmakers, practitioners, decision makers of Philippine cinema. That is an amazing access that we never had, okay, from our generation. And even more with Sir Ricky, diba? Parang talagang inahap na talaga yung way, right? And so we're trying to point the way to help you guys out. And which brings me to why we're here, and that is to celebrate the launching of the second edition of Indiegenius. And there are some big changes this year. As we mentioned before, the first edition was actually open to all ages. And so this year, all ages, basta hindi kita kagawa ng feature film, no? So we had, everyone from 20-year-olds to like seniors na applying last year. But this year we said, you know what, let's really focus on the younger ones, help give them a push. And so now we're focusing on those between the ages of 18 to 35. Okay, so kiddies, don't be shy, okay, mag-submit lang kayo, okay, start your journey now. And what's the big difference this year is that we have a week-long lab, and we'll be mixing some new mentors just to keep these interesting. So again, we'll have the likes of Miss Lee Briones, who will be doing the cinematography workshop this year, and national artist Ricky Lee will be visiting the screenwriting workshop and helping out the mentor there. I won't say who, but it's quite possibly one of my batch 15 classmates. So we keep it in the circle, and the friendships go on, right? And the big addition, because of the success of the Vision Scholars, they have a 100% success rate last year, both went to Busan. We're expanding the number of scholars from 2 to 10. So that really means, guys, a total of 20 projects will benefit from Indigenous too. That's almost double from the first batch. As they say, the more the merrier. So hope this can inspire and give a boost to more young filmmakers. Please, if you have friends, family, frenemies, just encourage them to apply, because the whole point is to open this door and make sure it's accessible. We don't want to be gatekeepers. We want to open the door. We want to open the floodgates for everybody. And so, without further ado, can we bring the lights down to play our video launching Indigenous 2. Thanks very much.
Yung pinaka-gusto about Indigenous ay yung fact na it's pro-filmmaker. So that it's a grant that's given out like a gift. As a regional filmmaker, I really think that there's a lack of support for us because of course the lack of resources that we have here.
Filmmaking is a community thing. So I have to be motivated because it's not just me who's doing a project, but it's a lot of people. And that time, you have to have a common goal.
I think yung biggest thing na with Indigenous is accessibility. Very grounded siya na hindi matatakot yun.
If you want to grow and get better at what you do, the only way is to be adventurous and go in uncharted territory. That's the only way.
Dito tayo as filmmakers to mirror our society.
I think it really matters for young filmmakers to find forms of support like this. With Indigenous, it really encourages us to produce films with a unique voice.
Ang maganda for me for Indigenous is hindi siya specific to a certain genre.
And I feel like making short films is a very good foundation. So it's very good that we hone aspiring filmmakers in making their short films.
This ain't no regular thing. I came for the breeze, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This is my city, yeah, this is my team. Talking and taught to be nice. I played with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, share it.